So, like a lot of people who play Final Fantasy XIV, I've been eating up the media tour coverage like crazy. I am so excited to play Endwalker. After playing SMT5, I have no idea how I'm going to fit this into my schedule, but I guess we'll make it work. And there's one thing that Yoshida-san said that has been keeping me up at night, thinking about, theorizing about, and I just needed to make a video so that it stops living in my head rent-free. In Zepla's interview with Yoshi P, he mentioned that there's a color theme in Endwalker that may not be apparent while you're playing through.
Okay, so I recall in a previous interview in which you discussed the platinum color theme for this expansion. You had mentioned that Shadowbringers had unique light weather conditions, like the light, and stated that you're preparing another surprise for players once again in the game that would involve adjusting the game to fit the color theme. And yet, I don't recall seeing anything like that in the media tour. Can you elaborate?
So, okay, let's look back at Shadowbringers. So, back at Shadowbringers, we had quite simplistic color theme, you could say. There was black, purple, those types of colors. And the theme of the story was, of course, that the world was flooded in light. So, we had to bring back the night. So, in that sense, it was quite easy to understand. So actually, then when we look at Endwalker, so I decided on this color, platinum, for the theme color. But even I got feedback from the colleagues in the Japanese marketing and PR team. They were like, well, what exactly is that platinum? What is this platinum that you're talking about? So yeah, this time it's not easy to understand. So when you look in the game itself, there's not really something that you can see recognized as platinum in in terms of the in-game colors. But what I'm trying to say is that when you, for example, let's look in reality. You look up at the moon, and I'm sure for a lot of people it looks yellow. But for me, there's like an instance, there's like a moment where it looks platinum. And so that was what I was thinking. So, and this ties then into the game. There's actually a key word that I place a lot of importance on. And that was really behind this. And it's not something physical, you cannot really think of it as something like physical terms. But because of that keyword that I had, that was what I was kind of wanting to achieve. But this is, again, it's something really difficult to gauge. So possibly you might even end up playing right through to the end credits. And hopefully, I hope that after the end credits, maybe some people will know, but maybe some people won't get what I was thinking. In the game itself, for the media tour, I made sure to hide those areas where, like, color plays a part and would surprise the player. But do rest assured, that actually is there. So you're just going to have to wait for Endwalker and find out and be surprised yourself.
What was the key word that he was mentioning? Was platinum the key word, or was there like another word that we don't know?
So actually there are two keywords, and I'm not telling anyone what they are. So you're just... Oh, man. So even in the teams in Japan, the only person I told was Foxton, Migoshi-san, who's here with us.
No.
Sorry. And,
he doesn't even know.
Yes. Yeah, so basically, I really want everyone to find it out when they play the game and see the end credits. But if you don't know, then feel free to ask, and we can share the answers. But I hope that players will be able to find out what my aim was here.
That does sound rather simplistic to make a video about. I mean, the moon does tend to change perceived color based on the atmosphere, and its light is simply a reflection of the sun. So yes, at times it can be seen as a brilliant platinum, shimmering the night sky. However, I posit that there is more behind this than just color. After all, silver is very close in color to platinum, and more commonly used as a color. In fact, you can find articles comparing the two metals, with the major difference being durability and not appearance. So instead, let's look at platinum not as a color, but as a metal. But not just a metal. I very much doubt that Yoshida-san was thinking about its atomic number or its melting point. Let's look at this from the lens of alchemy. Now, as you're probably aware, alchemy is debunked, but it's still widely used in literature and art as important symbolism. Platinum was revered for its endurance and was believed to represent determination, grit, and seeing our manifestations to completion. It also represents high achievement and reward for achieving our best selves. And the symbol of platinum in alchemy looks like this. The crescent on the left represents the moon, and the circle on the right represents the sun. The reason why alchemists assign platinum to this symbol is because it was thought at that time that platinum was made out of both gold and silver. They associated silver with the moon and gold with the sun, and of course, both silver and gold have their own individual meanings in alchemy as well. Silver is associated with feminine, which makes sense given that the moon is often associated with female energy in mythology. Other commonly feminine traits associated with silver are intuition, inner wisdom, and contemplation. According to symbolicmeanings.com, silver represents subtle strength, that we ourselves can be flexible enough to be molded into something better, but strong enough to keep our core integrity intact. This is very reminiscent of Hydaelyn, and the fact that beings that exist in the 7th Umbral era are only a fraction of what the ancients were. Although the ancient souls have been divided, spread out, diluted, humanity has shown itself to be strong enough to persevere through multiple calamities by accepting change. And given that the moon only gives light by reflection of the sun, it's rather fitting that humanity has gotten its life from its ancestors. In contrast, gold is associated with the sun, which is often associated with masculine energy. Think Apollo. In Christian art, gold is often associated with virtue and divine love. However, in alchemy, gold is seen as a symbol of immutability, eternity, and perfection, because it's resistant to both heat and acid. It is associated with a quest to perfect and illuminate the self. Turning basic metal into gold might sound familiar, given that it is one of the most common aspects of alchemy people are aware of. However, it's most likely not literal, and instead is an allegory for changing sinful or negative behavior, such as greed, hate, and selfishness, into love, virtue, and compassion through self-purification. Essentially, gold is seen as the transition of the soul. All of these concepts embody what seems to be critically examined throughout the entire game: primals and religion, the obsession with a divine being who will love and protect, and the inability to change. To me, that reminds me a lot of one sassy man, Emmett Selk, and by extension, Zodiark. We learn in Shadowbringers that the Ascians are not just scary bad guys who monologue vaguely at the end of X-Facts, but once lived as complete and perfect beings, immortal and powerful, and that those that possess the Echo have only a small fragment of the power from these ancients. It's a little hard to explain, but essentially we reincarnated as imperfect, incomplete forms. Our souls are so incomplete and our lifespans are so short that the Ascians could see us essentially as bugs. But neither of these concepts in alchemy sound terrible, right? But Zodiark is the clear villain. I think, as we saw in Shadowbringers, that it's not so clear-cut. In 14, Umbral and Astral Energy is emphasized, with Astral being associated with prosperity, and Umbral being associated with destruction. Then, in Shadowbringers, we saw that the light can bring destruction through the consumption of all other energy until there's nothing left but light. And darkness being the combination of all energy present, much like every paint color mixed together. For a more in-depth explanation of Umbral and Astral Energy, I'd suggest checking out Jessie Cox's video on the subject. In both instances, we can associate light or astral energy with Hydaelyn. She helped mold the energy that was left into new life forms, malleable and able to change, not caving to destruction. But she also in turn prevented the reconstruction of the ancient souls, using up their energy. Zodiark is associated with dark or umbral energy, which brought destruction with the inability to let go and change, to stay immutable and eternal. But in a way, the darkness is the complete soul, all parts together. And these concepts aren't unique, they're the basis of yin and yang. Gold and silver side by side, durability in its combination. And so, I personally think that this is what Yoshida-san meant when he said that the game's color theme is platinum. And I would hazard a guess that the unknown keywords just might be silver and gold. Well, thanks for watching. I know this isn't a Persona video, but I do like JRPGs of all kinds. If you want to comment or like or subscribe, you're welcome to. And I hope that I see you in Eorzea.